I was torn on whether or not I wanted to address the leaks of Final Fantasy from what appears to be the starter kit, but everyone else seems to be talking about it, so why not? If you guys missed the news over the weekend, there was some accidental starter kits and products shipped to some stores in Brazil way early, obviously, as Final Fantasy doesn't come out for, quite a bit here until June. They did ask that they be returned, but it looks like, as anyone with half a brain could have told you, someone was able to open one up and get some pictures, and we have some translations. So we're going to take a look at them, see if any of them are any good. I think it's funny that this stuff happens. Like, I wonder if they're going to send the Pinkertons after those people or something. Yeah, Wizards can't stop spoiling their own things as it happens. So, if you guys enjoy the video, hit that like button and subscribe. Bell icon if you want to be notified when new videos are posted. And of course, let me know in the comment section down below what you think of the cards that we covered today. As far as I'm aware, this Final Fantasy starter kit is going to contain a combination of exclusive cards and then largely cards from the main Final Fantasy set or something to that effect. They are basically not too many exclusively new cards, but the way that they work, and from what I can tell on the lands, all of these are going to be from the starter kit that these spoilers are here. It does say there are 5 rares in each deck with collector numbers outside of the main set, meaning they're exclusive to the starter kit. The rest are all from, the main set or whatever else. It looks like maybe they're all from Final Fantasy in here, but I don't know exactly how they broke it down. The reason I mentioned that is to say that these are not going to be anything great for the most part. A lot of them are probably going to be more watered down to the level of a starter kit. So just if you're looking at them like, man, some of these seem weak in comparison to the early reveals, it's largely by design because these are meant to be played within the starter kit. So just, something to note. Now, what I do find interesting is it appears the starter kit also comes with the Final Fantasy lands, which is actually a really nice touch. I know it's land, so it's not the craziest thing, but to get them in there kind of guaranteed is definitely nice. So if you want to see an early look at what some of those Final Fantasy lands look like, that is the image there. But again, I guess we should also just note that these are not confirmed. So there is a possibility that these are fake, but reasonably nothing stands out to me to suggest that they're fake. So I'm pretty confident these are real. They're definitely not good enough where I think they would really necessarily be fake. Here, if you guys want to see the other lands as well, it looks like there might be a couple of each, so that's definitely neat. I wonder if they'll be in the main set as well, but we'll talk about it. So, a couple cards I do think are worth noting. We got Rosa, the Steadfast White Mage. It's a legendary creature, noble human cleric with reach. Beginning of combat on your turn, you put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, gains lifelink until end of turn. It's 3 and a white, I'm sorry. It's not terrible. It was one of the ones that kind of stood out to me early because I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. I think it's a little costly, though, to be really viable. Then I also think, well, giving lifelink to something, and it's probably a really good card for Standard, or at least a playable card in Standard, perhaps. I don't know. It's legal in Standard, obviously. You can't stack it, though, because the Legendary, which is interesting in and of itself. You'll see me skip through some of these because they're just not even worth spending a ton of time covering. We do have Beatrix, Loyal General, and this is a legendary creature, human soldier with vigilance. Beginning of combat on your turn, attach any number of equipment you control to target creature you control. So I do like this one a lot. It is a bit costly to bring out at 6, but it's not like you couldn't kind of build around it with a lot of other equipment cards, although realistically there's better equipment commanders that this would probably fit into the deck. But I think it's a solid enough card. Equipment getting able to free cast a bunch is great. You could build a Voltron deck with this, but like I said, you're just missing out on the opportunity to also play red or another color for equipments there if you play it as the commander. Lightning Security Sergeant is 2 and a red with Menace. Whenever Lightning deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library. You may play that card for as long as you control Lightning. Impulse Draw for red, not shocking. I think this feels like it could have had haste and it would be okay. Maybe that's a crazy take, but this could have had haste and probably be okay. Especially because it's a legendary creature. It's, as it stands, it's just, if you're a fan of Lightning, then I'm sure the character design is cool. I've never really played a Final Fantasy game, so I don't claim to be a giant fan. I'm merely treating these as though they were new cards. Unless in terms of, my excitement level, I'm looking at them the same as I would new cards, but I know people are going to be kind of pumped about some of them, and I get that. We've got Rays of Judgment. That is 3 and a red instant. Rays of Judgment deals 5 damage to target creature and X damage to its controller, where X is the number of equipment you control. It's not that great unless you have a way to have a crazy amount of equipment. It feels kind of uninteresting, all things considered. The 5 damage for 4 mana, it's just not. I mean, there's better options in every format to do that, and I just think that's, kind of funny. So, Ultimate Weapon is definitely really, really good. This is a 7-drop legendary artifact equipment. It says whenever equipped creature attacks, destroy target creature and opponent controls. Then equipped creature gets +7/+7, and it costs 7 to equip, but we have tons of cards that can bypass equip restrictions. We just saw one, but there's some that are even a lot better than that. So this is a kind of a hidden gem in this deck. I think this is a really, really strong card in general. So I would expect there to be some interest there. Adalbert Steiner, Adalbert, did I mispronounce it? I'm sorry if I offend anyone there. It's 1 and a white, legendary creature, human soldier with lifelink. It gains +1/+1 for each equipment you control. It's cute, I guess. I don't know if it's standard legal, so if it is, then it's probably good. Because, you know, low enough to the ground with lifelink that you could play some equipment and buff it up, I'm sure. Cloud Moogle, flying. Whenever the creature enters, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, and it has plane cycling 2. Certainly the plane cycling could be potentially decent, certain things, being able to get specific planes and fix your land, but otherwise it's going to cost quite a lot to bring out. It is adorable, though. Hopefully we get some better Moogles in the actual set. Yeah, some of these are just not... A Dwarven Castle Guard, amazing artwork. Just have to give that one a quick shout out. Sun Crystal Fate is an instant, costs 2 less gas, but targets tap creature. Destroy target non-land permanent, which is kind of decent. It's really a draft card, but it's a little better than some of the others because it's not just a creature. It can get rid of anything, which is definitely not terrible to have, at least as an option. Blade of Light, just kind of another damage dealer. White Auracite, I kind of like, but I think it costs too much. So this is White Aurite, and it's artifact. When this artifact enters, exile target non-land permanent and opponent controls until this artifact leaves the battlefield. It costs 2 and 2 white. I do like that it's an O-ring that can tap for mana. 4 is a little steep, I think, but it may not be that bad because technically speaking, well, Sheltered by Ghosts is 2. I don't know, maybe I'm in the minority on this one. I just think 4 is a little steep. It could have been 3 mana. I think it'd probably been okay, but maybe not. Maybe the adding of mana basically just makes it an objectively a little too unbalanced if you leave it the other way. We've got White Mage's Rod. It's an artifact equipment. It costs 1 and a white, but we do get to see one of the new keywords, which is choose a job. Whenever this equipment enters, create a 1/1 colorless hero creature token and attach this to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 and gains whenever this creature attacks. You gain 1 life, and it's a cleric in addition to its other types. I mentioned this mostly to note the actual, job mechanic, if you will. Similar to 4 Mirrodin or like the living weapon or whatever the one is that creates a germ. This is on the weaker side, but it's clearly meant to be filler. I just wanted to introduce the actual mechanic there because there's quite a few cards that seem to use it. And I don't know if that'll be just in the deck or if it'll be, from somewhere else. Mostly a lot of filler stuff here. Suplex is just a funny card. Freya Crescent is really good. This is a 1-drop legendary creature, Rat Knight with jump. So it says during your turn it has flying. But it says tap, add red, only cast an equipment or activate abilities of an equipment with this mana. I know it's probably not as good as I'm thinking it is, but like a mana dork that taps for red is great for equipment decks. I do wish this had haste because it's probably balanced enough that it could have haste given the equipment restriction to tap for mana, but I think this card is really cool. I think it's great to see equipments actually get some like tools that are, more easily usable. More of choosing a job. Some other cards here. It looks like lands, they're city subtype. Rabanasta, City of the Kingdom, but it's a tap land, so it's objectively terrible. Couple others we got was Artemis Menace of Time. She is 4 and 2 blue. Legendary creature, human warlock. Whenever this creature enters, tap all creatures your opponents control. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to an opponent, draw a card. I do like it. It's not the craziest card that does that draw thing, but you get the effect of, reconnaissance mission mixed with a full tap of all opponent's creatures. That's not terrible. It's 6 mana is a little steep. I don't know if I'd really be my go-to, but I also don't think it's terrible, so I give it, credit for that at least. Deadly Embrace is just another removal. I just find some of these to be kind of not great. I do like this one, which is Magitech Scythe. It's an artifact equipment. It's a 4-drop. When it enters, you may attach it to target creature you control. If you do that, creature gains first strike and must be blocked this turn if able. That is until end of turn. Group creature gets +2/+1. Kind of cool, especially giving it first strike. You can force something to block depending on the situation, but it's not outstanding. There's just, there's a lot of stuff here that is clearly intended to be filler, so it's just sort of is what it is. But there is a new rat. It's 1 and a black creature rat. When it dies, create a treasure token. I mean, it's not the worst option for standard. Shambling Ghast isn't legal anymore, but there might be something else that creates standard. I'm not sure. Sephiroth's Intervention is a 4 mana instant that destroys target creature. I just think that's way too much mana, sorry. I actually feel like Albed Rescuers is an interesting card. This costs 2 and a black and is a creature, human, artificer, warrior. Whenever this creature or another creature or artifact you control is put into your graveyard from the battlefield, target opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. It's like Blood Artist. It costs more, but it also works off artifacts, which is interesting. This is probably going to see some love in certain decks, I think, with tokens or things that care about death triggers or things being removed, artifacts, sacking tokens. It's pretty good, and for a starter deck card, it's actually better than I anticipated that it would be. Extermination is kind of funny. It's 2 and a black instant. Target creature gets -0, -9,999 until end of turn. It's kind of hilarious, but it's also, you know, objectively going to remove pretty much anything and get around any restrictions that would come along there. And there is Return of Evil, which is a sorcery that costs 5. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with 2 +1/+1 counters on it. It's not completely garbage, but Zombify exists and does the same thing, minus the +1/+1 counters. I guess you have to determine if it's worth it to you to have the +1 but get the extra counters. Like, is the 1 mana for 2 counters worth it with what your deck's looking to do? Nothing in here is super crazy exciting, except for maybe the Legendary Sword, or whatever the heck it's called. I'm like blanking on the name because I didn't do a Ultima weapon. Wow, Legendary Sword. I just figured that, like, I would at least touch on it, give my thoughts. It's like, it's kind of exciting, although, like, Tarkir hasn't even come out yet, so, like, we can breathe a little. But these don't do anything for me because they're starter deck cards. So unless you're, like, a fan of those arts and whatnot, maybe it'll be good value because of the lands, and maybe there's more to these cards than I'm realizing. Because, again, I always give just a quick sort of, like, this is my thoughts. Maybe there's more, but I'm not super impressed so far of that. But I think the actual Final Fantasy main set with cards that are designed to be at that level will be much more enjoyable. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below, and I'll catch you in the next video.